You're 5 hours into learning about crypto. You've come across Wojaks, collateralized debt positions, dog tokens, and automated market makers. It feels like an alternate universe. Overwhelmed doesn't begin to describe what you're feeling. You've entered the crypto market to try and turn a profit, not get a master's degree. You've heard of traders making life-changing gains, but this knowledge gap is making you second guess yourself. Don't. You can beat 99% of the market by understanding one chart. And it doesn't require you to be an expert on all things crypto, which isn't to say they aren't important. It's just information overload when your primary goal is to turn a profit. Today, we will help you do exactly that by breaking down the crypto market into 5 distinct trades or phases, one of which unlocks the most notable of moments, the time in a bull market where meme tokens like Doge and Peep-like tokens mint millionaires overnight. A topic we will absolutely get into here, as understanding these phases hidden in this chart right here will tilt the odds of success in your favor. But before we simplify this chart by going step by step, let me introduce myself. My name is Ben Lilly, an economist that's been in the crypto industry for a decade now. I'm a managing partner at jlabs Digital, a firm founded in 2018 that specializes in research, quant trading, and autonomous trading and execution solutions. I know that sounds like a lot, but to showcase ourselves a bit, in 2018, we were one of the first to use wallet tracking and autonomous AI trading to generate consistent returns. Okay, enough of that. Let's get into the reason you started this video, the 5 crypto trades hidden within this chart. Five trades, or better yet, phases. That's how the market works. Here's an overview of the 5 phases. We have the out of market phase, which is when you're not trading crypto. The Bitcoin Milkshake phase. The Flippening, narrative, and finally the meme coin phase. We will get to each one in greater detail here. And yes, that big red diamond is where some of the biggest gains can come from. We will get to that. But before we do, it's essential we know how to spot the first few phases before this most lucrative phase emerges. Not to mention how you can think of your risk-taking behavior akin to grabbing piles of cash in front of a speeding train. Okay, so phase 1, the Bitcoin Milkshake. We can think of this as the earliest phase, the moment the market comes to life. Our alert that the time to pay attention is now. To break it down visually, here's a price chart of Bitcoin. Those numbers on the screen represent months, and the orange boxes are what is referred to as Bitcoin Milkshake moments. Now, a milkshake moment can be thought of like all the money entering crypto in existing money from all the various tokens in the market being thrown into a glass and stirred on up. This creates one massive pool of capital, or what traders call liquidity. The milkshake moment is when Bitcoin sucks up all that liquidity from the glass. To help us know that moment has arrived, we can measure it. We do it with that orange line you see on the price chart here. It measures just how much of crypto is composed of Bitcoin's total market cap or value. When it goes up fast, that's the market telling us it's in a milkshake phase. What's interesting is how this happens relative to time. Let's remove those orange boxes for a moment. It happens shortly after Bitcoin reaches a multi-year bottom, and about 6 to 8 months before Bitcoin's big event called the halving. It's when not just price, but when the market, again, comes to life. Now, the halving is what creates somewhat predictable timing here. It's a big deal. Don't let the naysayers sway you. If you do, you might lose out on some of the biggest moments that we will get to. Okay, the halving. It's when the amount of newly minted Bitcoin entering circulation gets cut in half. It's a rare event that takes place once every 4 years. And while the supply aspect of Bitcoin is only half of a supply and demand equation, we can see here it's very important. Now, to help keep things consistent, we will keep these red vertical lines that you see right here on all the price charts. This way, you can see how these phases revolve around this important halving event. Going back to the Milkshake moment or phase chart, this phase happens prior and also quickly after this halving event. Again, this kicks off the first of our 5 trades. In these Milkshake phases, as a trader, it's good to have exposure to Bitcoin as it dominates the market's attention. It also means it's time to be on the lookout for the next phase, a phase that represents our first step down the risk curve into smaller tokens and also bigger gains. The Flippening Phase. Ethereum has been the little brother to Bitcoin since it entered the picture, and it tends to be the second thought for money being allocated to crypto. If you've ever heard of the game Planko, money flows down the risk curve like that chip. It starts at Bitcoin, bounces to Ethereum and its competitors, and down to the smaller cap tokens. As the chip hits this second phase, we might hear of something called the flippening. It's a hopeful thought that the total market cap of Ethereum might surpass Bitcoin. Whether or not this will happen, we can leave that for another time. For today, we know that crypto has entered the flippening cycle where Ethereum and others outpace Bitcoin. We can see that in the purple boxes within this price chart. The purple line in this chart, it represents a ratio of Ethereum to Bitcoin. The higher the line goes, the more value that each Ethereum or Ether has relative to one Bitcoin. The purple boxes are showcasing exactly when this happens. You might notice that, like our first phase, this second phase also revolves around the halving event. And this phase happens twice in each halving cycle, before and after the event. Okay, here you are, 2 phases in, and you haven't had the need to learn about smart contracts, account abstraction, EIP 1559, or how to audit a contract. While those are all great, this template sits at the heart of how money flows through crypto. And it's how the best traders know how to time what is the most lucrative part of market cycles, the infamous alt season. It's a period we can break into 2 categories. The first is narratives, and the second, meme coins. We will get to both in just a moment. But before we do, it's important we really do understand just how risky the market can be. If trading the crypto market was like picking up piles of cash on a railroad track with a train speeding towards it, the first phase we mentioned at the start would be like picking up $5 bills on the track. It's good money, but you wouldn't be too inclined to sit there until the last possible moment as you stuff your pockets. You'll call it quits well before the train gets too close. If those $5 bills were instead $20 bills and the train was moving twice as fast, that would be like the flippening phase. The market, it's moving faster. And while you have more potential profit, you also have less margin for error. If we go ahead and replace those $20 bills with 50s, then we find ourselves at the next phase, the narrative phase. And once again, the train is moving even faster. This is where we tend to hear about a project unlocking a new paradigm, revolutionizing the way of doing things up until this very moment. This is the narrative phase, and it's where smaller tokens go on absolute tears. We can see that in this chart. It's the newly added yellow box. This phase is very distinct from the prior two. Reason being, we don't see it truly break out until after Bitcoin's halving. It happens just after the flippening phase. It also times up with Bitcoin tops. That's the important part here to make note of. We mentioned the train was barreling down the tracks as you scoop up $50 bills. And this is why. Bitcoin tends to top out at this stage and can reverse with unapologetic abruptness. This means the 20 to 50% gains many tokens are realizing might be cut in half in a matter of days. Speed becomes important as well, as these narratives happen quickly and begin to pop up like a game of whack-a-mole. You might hear about decentralized computation one day, metaverse plays the next, Web3 gaming, and a revolutionary way of financing a project through a token. Your endorphins will be firing as your bank account starts to make sizable leaps. This is, in many ways, the beginning of the end. Timing-wise, it's about 12 to 15 months after the halving, and just before our last and wildest stage, the meme coin phase. This is where those $50 bills become hundreds alongside gold and silver coins. The train is once again moving at least double the speed of the last phase. And to make it even more dramatic, the ground is starting to cave in beneath the tracks, making your margin for error razor thin. When you hear about people making millions off just a few $1,000s, this is the stage where it likely happened. You can see it here in this chart. I dropped some notable meme tokens in the upper left. These are your Doge, SHIB, Pepe, and other odd-themed tokens. Sadly, most of the tokens in this phase lack real usage or have anything being built that would accrue real value to the token. It's why we call this the meme coin phase. What will be the meme that takes off next round? Only time will tell. As for how to potentially spot them before they arrive, we will cover that in an upcoming video that will be released on this channel. So go ahead and subscribe so you can listen to a bunch of analysts pontificate about dog-themed tokens. In the meantime, this just about wraps up the 5 trades of crypto. I know you're likely sitting there saying that was only 4 trades. Well, after the meme coin phase, it's time to find shelter by hedging or finding a more stable form of value. Now, if you want to read up on weekly commentary that can help you stay on top of these phases, head over to jlabsdigital.com to sign up for our newsletter called Espresso. There, we will regularly publish this secret chart we went over today that we call the cycle phases chart. The chart we publish is a much more granular version of what we just presented today. What we presented today was the framework to help you understand this secret chart. So there is much more opportunity to be had day to day than what I shared here. All right, that's it out of me today. Thank you for listening and trade safe out there.